change to our original plan.
Quiet, please!
Thank you, Adrian. In a change to our original plan, given that there are no brewers here yet, what we are going to do is, so that they don't have to listen to what I have to say, that's perfectly sensible on their part, but we will also do my little review of the festival and the presentation to the charity who are here. And Dave Marshall, from part of the Peterbury Memorial Trust, also with his skills at film work, is filming this so it can appear on the branch's YouTube channel.
No pressure though.
Thank you very much. So the other thing that goes with that is that if any of you have said for today that you're visiting your granny or anything like that, and that you're not supposed to be here, just keep out of camera shot. So the 2025 Bradford Beer and Cider Festival, this time last year, we didn't really know that it was going to happen because there was still the possibility that we would be operating with the Yorkshire branch in Bradford Live under the NEC, the regional, the national Great British Winter Beer Festival. Some people were very keen on that idea. There was a groundswell, I recall, last year of rumbling around the room, hoping that that wouldn't happen. Well, the good news for those is that it hasn't. And that our festival continued as per normal. The Great British Winter Beer Festival instead did go to Rotherham at the Magna Centre, and as a result of that, particularly with the foreign beers and ciders, thanks particularly to Ricky Holden and David Dixon, some of the surplus product came to us, thanks to Andy Moore, the driver, for selling on. We've already contributed, I think, a couple of £1,000 approximately to Camra for that on behalf of the Rotherham event. So that's a very good start. I would have more accurate information if Colin Longdon, my treasurer, were here.
He's on holiday.
But Colin is doing a water taxi shift today, which is the first time I've heard that reason for not attending a free beer event celebrating our festival. A bit more normal is Mark Broadbent, who is flying to Tenerife today. Okay, fair enough. And previous excuses for not attending meetings or whatever have often come from the likes of Kerr Kennedy, following Scottish football, Ricky Holden.
Somebody else too.
Ricky Holden, drinking beer in Eastern Europe. Somebody has to do that as well.
Make research.
Yeah.
And
excuse me.
Tony Davies following rugby union of one kind or another. So, our events took place as normal with the traditional options available, and I have a few thanks to give for the people who work very hard before and after the festival and also during the festival. First on that list, because he always tells me I don't give him enough prominence in the programme, is Ricky Holden, who orders the beers. The brewers, as fine brewers who in due course will be turning up to receive their plaques at this event, they have to respond to Ricky, which I know sometimes it's difficult getting folk to respond. So Ricky organises that. He organises the beers for this event, which takes, I think, even more organisation at times and negotiation along the way. this year he also did a significant amount in conjunction with Peter Down of organising the keg,
EKF.
the
EKF.
key keg, or other types of keg beers that we have. Further to that, he does organise the sponsorship of the festival t-shirts. Before we go any further, what I must say for today's event is a big, big thank you, particularly on behalf of those of you who like drinking 9.2% beers, to Peter Down for going to the container to find extra kits. I see there are a lot of you that like 9.2%. As well as say, the beer ordering and those elements that go on in advance, there are a number of other activities that do enable the festival to operate, which go on a little bit behind the scenes, as far as many of us are concerned. Andy Moore has been our link to Tickety for the ticketing in advance of festivals, which has raised significant sums of money for us. Camra system has been a very good one for us this last 2 years that we've done it, and that's very good. Julie Razimovitz-Wilson, as our secretary, manages to, for our meetings, to turn what can be random discussion on occasion into sensible prose. I think a future in Hansard awaits. After those, please don't continue to applaud, because it will mean we're just delayed for everything else.
Are we booing?
Well, no, you can't, because next is Tony Davies, our commercial manager, whose relations with tailors have been vital to us securing glasses for the last 2 festivals and more as pure sponsorship, which is tremendous. Stuart Taylor organises our programme and publicity areas, which this year included the beer mats that were available in many pubs and clubs before the event, publicising what we do. Phil Drennan also involved with publicity and with our online activities, which again kept us going at times when we thought we were worried about the numbers booking tickets, so that worked very well as well. Paul Hartley, who's our health and safety person, in advance of the event, worked on our behalf to ensure that that worked very well. Jill Walsh, who is here today, which is a break from her for making cuddly toys and folding tombola tickets for next year's event. Has done a lot of work in advance to ensure that the tombola is successful. And Adrian Mello was our key link to HQ. But the other key folk beforehand, I think, the 2 key people, well, the key people I mentioned there, in setup and in takedown, Doug Smith, I mean, as somebody who my wife will know, probably takes about 3 years to put a shelf up. Doug manages to get the whole setup ready to go and ensures that it's successfully taken down, so when it goes back to the container we can find it again the next year. Those things are key to ensuring the success and the fact that our festival is able to open on time. Not half an hour before on time, but on time. Which is very good for us. This year we had help with the transport as well for that, as well as the van that Andy Moore drove from Russell and Sarah Zara in setup, which was very useful. And the final one of those advanced things is the hand pumps, which, thanks to Edward Lee and, well, I would say John Hartley, but for this, it's the late John Hartley, who has made those available to us for a number of years now, and whose loss, whose absence, was marked by a special beer from Eagles Crag at the event. So that was a very good element there. During the festival, there are other people who take a key role as well. And Anthony Campbell-Lane, Andy Moore and Pete Conkerton as our bar managers, with, again, assistant bar managers from the likes of Lee Birch here, have helped us tremendously. They helped me because they keep the numbers, the figures for the session-by-session consumption. I can't say sales because it is consumption, which helps us compile figures afterwards. David Dixon for cider is key. Deborah Moore and her team on the door are key. Bernice Wilson and her team on glasses are key. I'll come back to them in a moment. Adrian Mello for membership. Josie Boothroyd on the tombola. Colin Longdon with help from past Treasury folk. Malcolm Gardner, Dave Boothroyd, and Robbo, Dave Robinson. Much appreciated there. And Nick Abbott for his health and safety work during the event. Bernice's team do a tremendous job on the glasses and tokens in persuading punters to donate glasses, or parts of glasses, tokens, remaining tokens at the end of the event, to the charity of the festival. This year that's the Peter Greenwood Memorial Trust. We'll be doing a presentation to them shortly and we'll be hearing from them. So my final bits, I'm pleased to say, are a few advanced bits on numbers for this year's event. The numbers overall for the festival were 160 higher than last year. That's primarily due to Friday and the fact that we didn't have a train strike. The numbers on the other 2 days were broadly similar, but we had 683 on Thursday, 1,064 on Friday, and 1,002 on Saturday. People coming through the doors. Thanks to that information gathered, the cask beer sold, and that's the only one that we're really easily able to gather, and it is our key seller, was 295 gallons from the York room, 258 from the Evans room, 558 from the main hall, which is very similar to what we sold last year, given that we ordered 2 kills less. The fact that Ricky ordered 2 kills less, you could say he must have been having a bad day that day. But it's a sensible decision. A sensible decision in practice. Those numbers equate to 90.7% of the beer that we ordered being consumed during the event. Slightly lower than last year, but still pretty darn good, given that we ensure that every beer is available at every session. What I did notice is that consumption per punter has dropped slightly. Even on the Camra Members' Day, where they get it free on the Thursday, 3.2 pints per person. Pretty much throughout the festival of the cask beers is what we sold, as against 3.6% last year. had more Camra members and more ordinary members of the public than last year, but no, those numbers are, they speak for themselves and probably explain in part why we won't have made as much profit as we did last year. We did make profit last year, we will make profit this year, but it will probably be high four figures pounds rather than low five figures of pounds as it was last year. Those of you that were at the event on the Wednesday, the branch social, will understand that we had a panic or an organised worry about the failure of the card machines to work. A further set were whisked out to us by the Thursday evening session from HQ, but we are still working through and negotiating the finance of all that. But I think we're optimistic that we are in profit, but just at 5,000 less than last year. And if HQ complain, well, A, we've contributed a lot of money to you on behalf of Rotherham already, and we will be supplying more of our in due course. More details will be available, and Colin, when he gets back from his shift on the water taxi and attends branch meetings, will provide those at future meetings. I think that's probably quite enough from me, and I think the next stage, if we can, before the brewers arrive, is to move on to the presentation I mentioned, the fine efforts of the Glasses team and others to get income for the charity. In the absence of Colin, I will ask Adrian to come and present a fine IOU, we owe you on our behalf, to the Peter Greenwood Memorial Trust with a bit of information from them on what they do and what has happened.
Can you just read that out?
It's £1,983.86, which, from my recollection, is the largest sum we have ever raised for a charity.
That's all we've got at the moment, I'm sure we post it on anyway. Yeah.
I've got the smart details, the money will go into
On behalf of the many students who are going to benefit from this fantastic boost to our fund, a big thank you to Camra for having our charity as your nominated charity, and a big thank you to all you people who went there and put money into the bank for us. The Peter Greenwood Memorial Trust was set up in 1985-1986 following the tragic death of Peter Greenwood and his two teenage sons in the Bradford City fire. Peter was deputy head of Thorne Park School for the Deaf, and he had a particular passion for deaf students to get into further education, not something that was very easy all those years ago. The charity was set up to provide that little bit extra for students to get equipment, books that were easier for them to use, so that they could compete with their peer students. And we're still going after coming up to 40 years now. I work with a charity, I work for charities, and I bore people rigid telling them how difficult it is to raise money, particularly since COVID and the cashless society. People just don't have the small change in their pockets to throw into buckets. So it's great when organisations like yours will come along and say, we will nominate you as our charity for this year. And I just keep my fingers crossed that other people will come along, companies will come along and say, yeah, we have a charity day, we'll support you. Because that's the sort of money we need to be coming in order to carry on supporting these young students. So, thank you very much indeed.
Before the cameras will cease rolling, a couple more things. Firstly, we heard about the charity, we didn't know about it already, through an event that Adrian, among others, attended at the castle on Paul a couple of years back. So, running events really helps from that point of view. And thank you very much. The final thing, before the cameras stop rolling, I hope, is that I'd like to call Kerr Kennedy up now to do a further small set of presentations that may be a surprise to some of you here.
Before we do that, while Kerr's walking up, because having been a past organiser myself, I know how stressful and everything the festival organisation is. So I think we all need to raise our glasses and thank Andrew for
Come on, Jock. Get in there. Right. Can you hear me up the back? Right, so.
Quiet, Bill.
Okay. Right. Well, my assistants are getting these things ready. We're ready, Carl. We're ready. Ready, okay. This is a special, I'm going to make a special branch award made to some of our most long-serving branch members, not just of this branch, but of other Keighley branch as well. Perhaps not since the very outset, but for many years now active in the branch, and in these particular cases they've served upwards of 40 plus years in the service and for working at Bradford Beer Festival. Now that's amazing. 40 plus years. Goodness sake. What was I doing 40 plus years ago?
Oh, you weren't born.
You smooth. No. Anyway, it's an amazing length of time. And then just think over the last 40 years how much money we've raised for Camra and how much money we've raised for charities. It's fantastic. So, and the awards represent a fantastic era of active service. So the branch thanks them for all these years of service, helping to produce a festival year on year, which Bradford Camra is very proud. And the only interruption to that was in the COVID years, you know, the dreaded lurgy we had for a couple of years. But so on behalf of the branch, I'd like to present certificates and special lifetime volunteer badges. Now these volunteer badges will entitle, I'm not sure who told me, Kate, our secretary told me, that they can get, as soon as they stop working for Bradford Beer Festival, they can present this badge, enter in, they become honorary staff, get a glass, they might get the odd half-pint token. Fill the glass. So, I'd like to call on and to Josie Boothroyd first of all. Ricky Holden. And Doug Smith. I've always wanted to do this. Right. So.
Ignore it. Don't you back, Vicky. Don't you back.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, what have they actually done over the last 40 plus years? Dougie, as we already heard from Andrew, is Mr. Setup and Takedown. He's Mr. Organiser of all the equipment. So I think he deserves a special thanks for that. Sure, in the early years, I've only been here for 30 years, but Josie has contributed a fantastic amount. Lately, she's helped in the tombola, but she's done all sorts of jobs every year, alongside her husband David. Okay, Josie. Mr. Holden, as you already heard, orders the beer, the most important part of the beer festival. So, let's hear a hand for Ricky.
Very nice, very nice.
Other way round.
Fill it in yourself.
One for you, Doug.
Thank you.
And one for you.
I don't go around my head now.
Right, Josie, fantastic. 40 plus years, Josie. Plus years. Ricky.
Oh, baby.
Fantastic. Did we get a photograph?
Yeah. Show you that.
You got a picture?
Yoga! Wait, thank you.
Happy his birthdays.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Say sausages or something, come on.
Come on.
Is
that it?
That's it. Hey! Thank you guys. Now, when they're all through us to present plans to, we will do that. Because in the meantime, I think...
Oh.
Yes. 37
new members.
more than last
10 more than last year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.